ladies, welcome to one of the cards in your Floral Essence online class. So this is the stamp set that you should have because to do the class you've had to have bought this. And you will also have a couple of punches. We're not going to use the punches on this card. On this first card it's going to be a super simple card. So for this is the card that you're going to make. And these are the supplies that you're going to need. So pull these out. You need it's petal pink, the crushed curry ribbon, which if you want to order more of it, it is the crushed curry seam binding, the crinkled seam binding. So if you want to order more. And then this is the designer series paper that comes as part of the suite. And I know when you flip it over, because it was a tough one for me, which side do you use? Because they're so pretty. And if you take away the ribbon, you'll see that you could have done a card with these, because one of the other colors that you're going to be working with later is blackberry. So you can switch it up if you want. But this ribbon doesn't go as well with that side of the paper. So that was how I went with this side of the paper. So this is what we're going to do. It's card's super simple. So pull out your stamps and the blocks that you're going to mount. Really all you're going to need is some scissors, some dimensionals, your regular adhesive, and then these 3 stamp pads. You're going to need your old olive, your petal pink, and your crushed curry. So first off, go ahead and fold your card in half. So this is petal pink. It's a really nice pink. It has a subtle tone of orange to it. Kind of a peachy. And you're going to need some scrap paper. So this you're just going to attach to this piece. And there kind of is an up and down. So you want your flowers to go this direction because otherwise they'll be upside down. So when you kind of look at your piece, you'll see that there is a right side up and a wrong side. But because some of it's going to get covered up, it doesn't so much matter if you do it upside down. And I'm going to do this. I have found with this paper, I've liked adhering it this direction because then I find I'm not putting the adhesive on this beautiful piece and being sad that I'm wasting it. Okay, so just stick this on here. And then we'll get to our stamping. So you're going to take your piece of vellum. And this is from the vellum that's also part of the suite. There is a right side and a wrong side. So you'll see that the right side, the top side, is darker. And this has like the sheen to it. So you're going to stamp on the back side. So for this, you're going to need the big flower, the leaf outline, the center. And then if you want these words, but you can, if you want different words out of a different stamp set or different words out of this stamp set, I'm using the one that says, wishing you a blissful future. You want some that are kind of thin. But I gave you a larger size piece of vanilla in case you want different words. That gives you a little bit of a bigger piece to work with. So first you're going to start with your biggest stamp. You always start with your biggest one and do your petal pink. You can see on my scrap where I went with it. And you're just going to fill the whole thing up. And you don't have to be super careful because this is going to go over the top of the other paper. So, you're going to see through it, but it's not going to be super important how your stamping goes. So I've filled this up. And it takes a second to dry, so just be careful. So there's the flowers. That's all the pink that we need. And then get your old olive and just add some leaves. You don't want a ton because they will cover up your background. And with the leaves, just kind of go a different direction with all of them. So that's enough. Again, you don't want a ton. And if you want, I'm not going to, but if I was finishing this card, put one of the flowers on the inside as well. Just do the whole thing, the flower, the center, and the leaves just down here or in the corner, depending on if you're going to put some inside words, kind of where you put that. And then I'm going to use the old olive for my saying. And this one says, wishing you a blissful future. And if you have a Big Shot or a die cutting machine, you by all means can do this as a label. But because I designed this class for any of you that may be beginners, I didn't want you to have it. So this, we are just going to hand cut. You don't even need a paper trimmer. So that's all we need for the old olive. And then just a little bit of crushed curry. And this is for the flower centers, which you don't really even have to hit the flower centers on this. But I'm going to, just because it gives you some place to aim for. And if you don't have a flower center everywhere that you think that you might want a little bit of crushed curry, then just add one. Because you just kind of want a little bit of yellow everywhere, because there's not really one there, and that's enough. This is just for some subtle highlights. So now I'm going to set this aside just so it can dry, because it does take a second longer on vellum than it does on regular cardstock for something to dry. I'm going to take my paper snips. And then this is, well, I thought that I cut that the right size, but I did not. So you can first cut this to size. So I want it to be, we'll do this way. I cut it 5.5, but the card's 5.5 the other way. It needed to be 4. Maybe in your packet it's 4. I can't remember. So I intentionally do not do this straight, so you want it wavy. And I also want as much as of my pretty paper to show. So just get as close as you can to the words. And don't go straight. So on mine, my original sample, I'll show you here. See, I've kind of like got a little wavy thing going. And you're gonna have it go from edge to edge. So just hold it on here. Now that I've got it the right width. So you don't, people think a lot of times they have to have lots of special tools. If you don't have a lot of special tools, or if you know you're crafting at a friend's house or you're on vacation, you just go old school. Because 25 years ago when I started, we stamped beautiful cards, and obviously people liked it because they all started stamping. And half these things didn't even exist. We didn't have cool punches. We didn't even have things to punch circles, so we had to cut them. There weren't die cutting machines, and you made it work. So see, you can just make your own little band. But if you have a label or something that you want to run through the die machine, you can do that too. But you don't have to. So that's that. Because this card, we're letting a lot of the flowers do the work. So here's your piece of ribbon. And it's up to you. You can do a double ribbon because I've given you enough ribbon to do a double ribbon. If you want to do a half a ribbon so you have enough to do it for another card, you can do that as well. So what I've done is fold it in over half. And then down here at this end, just start tying your bow. And then when you have it, so it's about, well, I guess I didn't even bring it through the loops. It helps if it goes through the loops. There you go. So make it so it's mostly even. And I gave you plenty so you'll have extra to work with. Just make your loops, and I usually like to try to get my fingers up in here. There we go. Because if you hold the loops, then you can pull it tight down below. So pull this till you get these. Now it's nice and tight. And then you can pull those. So then cut this so it's kind of the same length as that. And I always just have my ribbon be long because it's easier to work with long ribbon. And I'd rather throw that away than mess up ribbons and keep throwing away whole pieces. So now there's my ribbon. Now we're going to take this piece, and what you're going to do is you're going to take this piece that we stamped. Remember, we stamped on the wrong side. So flip this over. And I took my dimensionals. So if you have dimensionals, and in the holiday catalog, depends on when you're watching this, because if you have signed up later in the year, you've probably already seen the holiday catalog. If you are watching it early on in the process, the holiday catalog is going to have black dimensionals. So what I did on mine is I took on our dimensionals, the outside edges are all one piece. So I took this piece here and I just cut that. So take this and just put it back here, and that will give it a nice raised up. And put it here, and our piece here is longer than this, so that's going to cover that up. And then again, I grabbed this piece over here. You can also use, we have pieces of dimensional strips. If you have the dimensional strips, you could use that too, because it does the same thing. So for this, again, I'm just going to put this here. And you just pull that up. Now when you stick this over, it's all nice and solid. And it kind of, the raised up portion, it makes it easier to see the paper underneath. So then when I was done, I wanted to see more of this beautiful paper. So what you do is you take your bone folder or a pencil, whatever you have. And at first I just kind of, just loosely, I'm not pressing hard, I'm just kind of breaking the fibers. So break them there, and then try to fold it in a little bit of a different place. I'm not pressing, like I'm trying not to get creases, although it's vellum, so it creases a little bit more. You just want enough so you can kind of roll it. And here's where you're going to see some of the yellow and some of the green as well. Now you're going to see it on the other side, which is a different color. Just kind of press that. Now open it back up and take whatever adhesive you're using. Your snail, I still have fast fuse, but you can use whichever. And now just roll it back up on itself. And then when you get up here to the top, just kind of press it down. And you may need a glue dot, depending on how far you want it to stay rolled up and how far you did your adhesive. So I'm going to put one there. And one there. And then when you roll it up here, it will keep it. So see, now you can see two different tones of that. And then your glue dots again. Just right here on the back of your crinkly ribbon. And if you want, you can kind of arrange your ribbon so these aren't on top. And if you want to arrange it, then you can use a glue dot to hold those. And then just take these where I pull them together and pull them apart, which is easier. Not upside down and a little bit closer to myself, but I'll do it this way so you guys can see it. There you go. And kind of fluff it back up a little bit. This ribbon also looks pretty if you have the polka dot tool and you're doing it for a wedding card, because this says wishing you a blissful future. You could double it up with some of the polka dot white tool and have a super floofy ribbon. So there you go, super simple. And it's kind of a fancier card with the vellum, so it could easily pass for a wedding card. And if you are going to a wedding and you know the bride's colors and she's doing purple, just flip the card over and go for the purple and then switch the ribbon to a color that matches the purple side of the paper. So there's one of the cards of the 3 that you'll be making. If you have any questions, then ask them below or message me. But you can comment below down in the YouTube video and I will get the notification. Depending on how your YouTube is set, sometimes the comments, if your YouTube's marked private, then they go into my approval line. If you're public, then they don't. I haven't quite figured out how it works, but if they are public, then I get them right away. I know that. If they go into approval, then it's not until I log into YouTube the next time on my laptop or my computer that I see them. So in that case, it may take me a day or two, depending on when you do it and if it's over the weekend, whether or not I'm in my office. But if you are not private, then I think that I get those notifications right away because they show up on YouTube. But it's kind of funny on these when the videos are private. Sometimes it takes a little bit longer to make it through the chain before I see the comments on there. But I will get them to you, get the answers to you. So any comments, or if you want to post a picture of your finished card, if you switch it up a little bit, we'd all love to see those. So everybody have a great day. Bye.